This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, January 7th, and this is episode 354 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg. I'm so not Matt Hochberg. It's your host, Len Testa. Matt is in the process of moving to Orlando, and we've decided to do the show without him. Actually, the audio quality in whatever tent he's living in right now is pretty bad. In any event, with me on the show, as always, it's Mike Scopa of allearsnet.com. Mike, how's it going?
You know, Len, before I even get into my podcast opening, I just want to say that for some reason I have just a very positive vibe coming from you, and I have a feeling that there's another positive vibe coming from another member of the team. I just had to mention that before I get into my podcast. I just have a calm sense of being.
I gotta say, I don't know what it is, but it's the room seems a little bit brighter. The air seems a little bit fresher. I don't know. Maybe the audio seems a little bit clearer. I don't know. Anyway, also also with us on the show tonight, it's Mike Newell of MouseWorldRadio.com. How's it going, Newell?
No podcast opening.
Let him do his podcast opening.
Oh, sorry. All right, go ahead.
All right. So here we go. All right. Okay, here we go. And I'm glad that Mr. Hochberg isn't here because he would have no clue as to where this came from. Okay? Here we go. Remember, Spinlock, doubt is the rust of a feeble mind. The only way to seize the future is to grasp the present. Let's go.
Wow.
Alien Encounter.
You got it.
Awesome. Anyway, as I said before, it's also with us on the show tonight is Mike Newell of MouseWorldRadio.com. Mr. Newell, lovely to see you today. Can I offer you a cigar?
Yeah, please.
Here you are.
Have some brandy with that, Len.
Oh, thanks. Hold on. Let me get the snifter out. Hold on. Here you go.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. I am in my happy place today.
It really is just a much more relaxed and mellow show tonight. So hopefully it'll be good for our listeners as well.
I hope so too. And Mike, may I add, Mr. Scopa, you're looking very fine tonight. And
Michael, as always, you just are just a true gentleman.
So kind.
Thank you.
On today's show, it's Walt Disney World Marathon Week, so we thought we would discuss the marathon, and our own venerable Mike Scopa is running this year in the half marathon. Mr. Scopa, what are some of the some of the obvious tips that you have maybe for first-time runners at the Walt Disney World Marathon?
Okay, first time is, well, at this point, obviously the training is over, and anything you've done up to this point is in the bank, so to speak. So what you need to do is you need to take a look at the week and get into tune as to what would be the best thing to prepare you for the next 5 to 6 days. First thing you need to do, obviously, is make sure that you pack everything that you will need for the race. And at this time of year, you never know what will happen regarding temperatures down there. I know that I've run this thing when it's been like high 30s, low 40s at the start, and this past year it was maybe high 60s. So it looks to be about high 60s again.
If you look at the starting temperature is going to be around 65, which is the upper limit of what Disney likes in terms of starting temperatures. High's going to be in the mid 80s for the day, I think.
I'm hoping, Len, that it doesn't go beyond like 75 by the time we finish. But the thing is that you have to be aware of the weather. Have to be aware of whether or not it's going to rain, and that is a big factor.
I'm actually looking at the weather forecast right now. The low is going to be 62, the high is going to be 77, and they're predicting showers, 50% chance of rain. The highest percentage chance of rain all week is on Saturday.
So that is something that everybody has to keep in mind. And with that in mind, I would suggest that everybody think about what they will wear for a top.
One of the things that newcomers often miss is chafing around the arms and pretty much everywhere in the front of your body. So make sure you've got Band-Aids and Vaseline to apply to the appropriate places that might chafe while you're running. Showers are going to be interesting. I've never actually run 13 miles in the rain.
Yeah, I think that the thing that bothers me the most, Len, is the waiting for the race in the rain.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah, because you're in the correct. I mean, they want everybody needs to know. Everybody who is going down for the first time needs to know that they have to be on the. If they're taking a bus to the start, they need to leave their resort by 4 a.m. And that means you'll get to Epcot, the Wonder parking lot, by about maybe 4:30.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there for, depending upon which wave you're in there for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking of bringing down a trash bag, a plastic trash bag, and just putting that over my head while I'm there. So at least I won't get wet before I run. And then when the gun starts, I'll just tear it off and let it happen then. Maybe with the rain, I'll run faster.
The first year that I ran the half, the grass was exceedingly wet and there were puddles everywhere. One of the things that I noticed that my shoes and my socks had been soaked even before the race started, and so I'd actually considered bringing a second throwaway pair of shoes the next year. I ended up not doing it because it was bone dry, but I did bring with me on the trip an extra pair of shoes that I could have just worn and gotten wet. And then my theory there was at the very last minute I was going to change out into dry shoes and dry socks and at least be able to run the first couple miles dry. That's another option too. Definitely though, Vaseline on your feet, for me at least, it keeps blisters away. And you really don't want to run in cotton socks. Cotton is just going to absorb the moisture and keep it there. No. You want to run in the nylon and the Cool Max socks, right. and make sure you don't have any friction at all there. So let me ask you this, Mike. In terms of a couple days before the race, I know everyone goes to Walt Disney World. If you're flying down, Wednesday or Thursday, you want to go in, you want to see the parks. People don't realize how much walking is involved in just seeing the parks. You want to make sure that you save your legs, right?
Yeah, I think that you and I found that out for the Tower of Terror. I mean, I really didn't do a good job of being careful a couple of days before the Tower of Terror race. Plus, it was at night, which I hate. But you're absolutely right. I think that a lot of people get excited about being at Walt Disney World, and you want to go through and you want to start doing maybe without even thinking, you're doing some type of commando touring through the parks, and you have to be really, really careful. I think that Thursday, if you should arrive at least by Thursday, I think. Get yourself acclimated to the weather,
to the altitude.
The altitude, to the weather. Yeah, it's just. But you're absolutely right. You need to take care of your legs. You need to think about. Well, on Thursday, that's when the expo is held.
You can pick up your race packet on Thursday if you wanted to, right?
Take your time. Go to the Milk House at the Wild World of Sports. Do your thing. Get your race pack and whatever. Verify your running chip. And then, begin to sort of wind down Thursday night. I would suggest getting up as early as you can Thursday morning so that you're tired Thursday night. So you're getting up early Friday morning. I think you can understand where I'm leading you to.
Yeah, you want to start conditioning yourself, yeah.
Right. You want to, and then the most, I think another important thing is to think about Friday. You want to stay out of the sun as much as possible. You want to stay off your legs. I'm not saying don't go into the parks. Just take it easy. And here's another thing. I don't know about you, Len, but I don't like to eat too close to a race. I need to have like 9 to 11 hours of no eating before a race. I just don't want my stomach to be full.
Is that race advice that Wilford Brimley has given you?
That's right. Philippides,
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I think everyone needs to be aware that it's unless you're really fast, you're going to be out there for 2 to 3 hours, and you may not run the whole distance, but you need to figure out what your body needs to have as far as nourishment and fuel, and you want to make sure that you have an exact idea as to when is the last absolute hour you can eat so that you will have enough fuel. You need to be able to do that. And again, like you said, you need to go to bed early on Friday night. Because
you're
first
not
off,
gonna sleep.
You're not going to sleep. Exactly. There's just no way you're going to sleep.
Thank you for editing that.
I want to run. At midnight, I want to go out there and I want to run.
Let's just go and get this over with. Right.
But just to play it safe, I suggest that you set your alarm clock in your hotel room. You use your cell phone alarm clock as a backup, and you have a wake-up call. You should do it all three just to
Yeah.
make sure that you're not going to
I agree.
oversleep. The other thing I would suggest doing is that you take your bib, your running number, and you pin it to your shirt the night before. Have everything laid out the night before.
That's exactly what I would do. Yeah. In fact, I would actually go so far as to say, if you're drinking coffee, obviously you don't want to drink more than a cup or two. Have the coffee stuff laid out the night before, so there's really no thinking that you have to do when you wake up. It's gonna be 4:00 in the morning. You're gonna be all adrenalized and disoriented anyway. You just want to do the basics that you have to do. Have the chip already tied to your shoe, your race chip tied to your shoe. Have your bib ready. Have everything laid out that you're taking with you in your bag, and then just get up and go in the morning. Or actually, I like to hang around the hotel for. Usually, I was getting up like at 2 or 2:30.
That's what I get up.
Hang around the hotel, have some coffee, watch some TV. Kind of get stretched out and stuff. Get your head right. Because I know everyone's trained and everyone is at a point right now where they can finish the race. But the difference between a good race and just an average race sometime is where your head's at when you start. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that you're telling yourself, you're giving yourself positive reinforcement that you can do it, and coming up with a race strategy and pacing yourself. And just knowing mentally what you're signing up for, so that there won't be any surprises. So,
well, Len, do you subscribe to this carbo loading theory? I've never subscribed to that.
I the only thing I do before races to keep my blood sugar high is dried apricots, which seem to work for me for whatever reason. It's one of the things that I latched onto from my personal trainer. Dried apricots are nice for me. They're easy. I mean, they're fruit. They're easy to carry with you. They taste pretty good. I kind of like those. But I don't, a big pasta meal the night before? No, I don't think so at all.
Why don't we tell everybody who's running this for the first time what to expect when they get to Epcot? Maybe we can cover the course a little bit too.
So let's talk about the course. You'll start once you get to Epcot. You'll be herded into the parking lot, and there's really going to be a huge crowd of people, and it's going to be well lighted. There'll be people directing you to the gate area. So there's actually two different staging areas. The first staging area that you're going to see will probably be is it the front parking lot or the cast member parking lot? It's
the Wonder parking lot. It's over to the left.
You'll see
you'll
see thousands and thousands of people, lots of lights, lots of people making announcements. You'll also see more portable toilets together than you've ever seen in your entire life.
Exactly.
And you can hang out there as long as you want. Eventually, they'll call people over to actually go to the corrals, the race corrals in the starting area, probably around 5 or 5:30. But you can hang out at that front area as long as you want. Once you go past once you get into the starting corrals, though, there's no leaving them. So once you're there, you're there. And they're going to tell you when you pick up your bib what race corral you're in. And the first one is letter A, the second one is letter B, the third one is letter C, and so on. The year that I ran first, they had gone all the way up to letter N, which was essentially in Ocala, Florida. And that's where I started my first race. Just kidding.
Yeah,
but
you were in corral 2 years ago.
I was in corral N the first year. N, like Nancy.
What about the year you and I ran both?
I was in B.
You were like right ahead of me. I was in C and you were in B, I think.
Yeah, I was in B. Not bad.
Yeah.
The first year I got to the race corral as soon as I could, and that wasn't the best strategy because there are no bathrooms. Oh, there are a few bathrooms there, but there's not a lot. Certainly fewer than what you had. There's really there's nowhere to sit down or anything like that. And it wasn't great. So I would definitely advise against rushing over to that race corral unless you really need to be at the front of it. And you think you're gonna do better in your time by being at the front of the corral than at the end. I wouldn't worry about getting there. Just be there by 5:30, 5:45 or so. Right before 6 o'clock, they'll do the national anthem. It's usually you're pretty much hyper adrenalized at that point. The first couple miles of the race, or once the starting gun goes off, everyone pretty much walks to the starting line. And Scope, I don't know it was probably you had probably had the same experience during the Tower of Terror race. The first couple miles, everyone's running together. There's just a huge crowd.
Yeah, one of the things that I think we may want to back up a little bit, Len, it takes about 20 minutes to walk from the corral to the starting area.
Last time it took me 4.
Yeah, you didn't run it this past year. It was just amazing how many people. I was just overwhelmed. So I have no idea what to expect this year. But it's about a 20-minute walk just to get to the start. And like you said, and just like in the Tower of Terror, the first mile is very frustrating for those who are into getting a really fast start. There's just no way. You're just so crowded. You're bunched in. The important thing is to watch in front of you. Make sure you're not stepping on anybody's ankle or anything. And like you said earlier, don't run on the grass because if it's going to be wet, it's going to be wet. Even if it's not raining, it's going to be wet.
And it's slippery.
It's uneven. Yeah,
it's uneven, right? You don't want to hurt yourself. Yeah. Stay to the middle of the road and get through it. And just remember to pace yourself, and you've run this distance before, so it's your body's ready mentally. You just have to make sure that you're convinced you can do it.
There are 9 water stops, and I encourage everybody to make sure that you stop at every one, especially for those who there are a lot of runners who will take an aspirin and take a Tylenol before they run, and anytime you take any type of an anti-inflammatory. You need to make sure that you're always hydrating yourself during the course of the race because they go after your kidneys. So keep that in mind. I think that in general, and it's a very flat course. The only inclines that I can recall is the one at Contemporary when you go underneath that little overpass or whatever.
Yes,
that's kind of steep.
It is actually kind of steep, and you're running on the sidewalk there. At least the years that I've run it, they run you on the not down the middle of the road. They run you on the sidewalk. You end up on your heels quite a bit going down that slope, and if you're not used to the pounding, it can be pretty jarring. The other thing I would say is if you're running the marathon, running through the animal kingdom, watch that uneven pavement because that's another area where water can pool and it can be slippery. I think more so maybe than the Magic Kingdom or the studios.
Well, last time I did Race for the Cure, we actually ran through the Magic Kingdom the opposite way, and the ground is so uneven. It's even if it's not raining, you have to really watch yourself. There'll
be morning dew, and it will have rained on Friday. Well, actually, 40% chance of rain, but there's going to be moisture on the ground. Just be careful on that.
The other two hills, there's right after mile 10, there's that ramp you have to go up. That's a huge ramp.
Yeah.
That gets you to the final stretch to get to
Epcot.
And then there's that hairpin turn. Then you go over that huge overpass, which I call Heartbreak Hill. And that gets you into, once you get to the top of that, you're home free. And but there's another one that's very sneaky, and you may have noticed it first time, Len. When we get into Epcot, when you come out from backstage, and you're right near the restrooms, which are to the right of Spaceship Earth, and you're heading towards World Showcase Plaza. That's quite an incline. That you don't notice it unless you've run about 12 miles.
Yeah. That's about 100 yards or so right before you get to Innovations Plaza. Not 100 yards, probably like 50 yards. Going uphill to Innovations Plaza. Yeah, that's definitely an uphill thing. The thing that got me the first year on that course wasn't the going up the ramp at mile 10. It was that hairpin turn that you mentioned. That hairpin turn actually goes back up too.
Yeah.
And that was really where I started to feel it. And that was like around mile, I guess 11. That was really what wore me out after running up the ramp was the thing. But I'm sure everyone will be fine. Everyone's trained enough. You guys will all be fine. I wish you all the best of luck. Yeah. All right. We actually have a couple of our listeners that are doing the Goofy, so I'd like to say good luck to them. Laurel, good luck on the race. And Scopa and anyone else who's listening, send me your bib number so I can keep track of you guys as you run.
Our boy Lou is going to be running.
That's right, Mangello. I spoke to him on Friday. He actually apparently there's some legal issue that's preventing him from using the word running in conjunction with what he's actually doing on Saturday. He said, "Don't say run," when I talked to him about it. So it's going to be some sort of trot, I guess, for Mangello.
Hey, why don't we, Mike Newell? Do you have any questions you'd like to ask about?
I got one thing. All this running talk is fascinating, but for the non-runner, that's showing up on the day of the race, what can I expect as far as what's closed, where I can go, where I can't go? What can
That's a good
It'll be
question.
different Saturday and Sunday, so good question.
Are you, Mike? Are you talking maybe in terms of if you want to watch, if you're a spectator and you want to come watch us run, where you would go?
Well, let's say I'm a spectator, and let's say I'm not a spectator. Let's say I'm
Yeah,
just
what if he's getting to the parks? What kind of impact is they're going to be on the parks?
let's say I'm a guest showing up and not realizing there's a race.
Yeah, do the spectator thing.
All right. There are a couple of places which I have recommended to people to go to watch their loved ones run. The first spot is and again, you have to be really early. I would take a bus to the Ticket and Transportation Center, because all the runners have to go through that overpass that the trams take us to the TTC area, to the monorail, ferry boat, to Magic Kingdom. So I would stake out a place at the TTC to watch people, and I would get there no later than 6:30 to watch everyone. Then, if you want, you can then shoot over to Main Street USA and try to find a place on Main Street USA, or even better, plant yourself near the walkway to Liberty Square, because the runners go through the castle and come down the left side ramp and over to Frontierland, and you can probably get a good view of somebody, one of your friends running, and actually be able to take a good photo. The other spot that's good is down near the wedding chapel on Floridian Way, near the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, by the Grand Floridian. Yeah.
What's nice about that is that there aren't that many people who are there, so you can actually have the runners. You can actually say, "Hey, blah blah blah," and they'll actually see you. But here's the thing: I don't think you can do all three of those. I think you can do two of the three, but you can't do all three. After you have them pass you at Floridian Way, I would then take the monorail to Epcot. And then, if you want to see the runners getting into Epcot, you need to go all the way over to where the buses are, which is to the right of the park entrance. And you'll see that huge ramp that Len and I were talking about. And you can see all the runners, go into Epcot over there. And then, of course, you have to hightail it to the finish. But those are the 4 or 5 areas that I think you'd have a chance of seeing people. But again, you got to give yourself plenty of time, because it's absolutely crazy, and there's so much traffic that morning. I mean, it's if I were not involved with the race and I really didn't care, I would have spent my morning at the Animal Kingdom. Really?
Yeah, probably on Saturday when they run the half marathon, the park that's going to be affected the most is Epcot.
Right.
If you're just a regular visitor and you're not following the race, Magic Kingdom should be fine by the time the park opens at 9 o'clock in the morning. The issue that you're going to have, though, is buses going, or if you're driving to the Magic Kingdom, going down that main road, you're going to run into traffic from Epcot, because the way you get to Epcot and the way you get to Magic Kingdom are the same road. So if you could take Disney transportation to the Magic Kingdom, which you should be doing anyway if you're staying on site, that's going to alleviate most of the issue. Disney usually does a really good job with traffic management, but to make your life easier, if you're staying on site, take the Disney bus. The Animal Kingdom and the studios should not be affected at all by the race. Now on Sunday, when they run the full marathon,
everyone's
going to be affected. But again, the Magic Kingdom will be the one that the runners leave first. Right. So the Magic Kingdom will be the least impacted. The most impacted is going to be the studios and Epcot, because that's where the runners will run to last. But even then, I mean, the Animal Kingdom, you're still going to be... They should be done by the Animal Kingdom by noon, I would think, right?
Well, actually, Len,
6 hours in.
Year, I was I was in the Magic Kingdom early that Sunday, and then I went over to Epcot, and I was at Stormalong Bay, and the marathoners were still finishing at about 12 o'clock. So
wow.
Yeah, because they come down and they go through the International Gateway, then they go counterclockwise around World Showcase, and then they finish just like the half marathoners. So Epcot is really impacted for at least half of the day, at least through 1 o'clock.
Really? Wow, that's pretty late.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 hours. I mean, they give you 7 hours to do the full, and if the last wave starts at 6:30, then you've got till 1:30. Yeah. There you go. Good question, Mr. Newell.
Why, thank you.
So that does it for us today. This has been episode 354 of Walt Disney World Today. For Mike Scopa and Mike Newell, I am Len Tista. Thanks for listening. Is that what he says? I bet I'm never paying attention to him.
We'll see you on the next show.
We'll see you on the next show. Yeah, whatever.
Nice job.
I'm never going to say that. Just kidding.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.